Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Now live at 5 o'clock, we are tracking the vaccine. The state's timeline on when it might be your turn is absolutely shocking.
On edge in Lansing, amid the threat of protests, Governor Whitmer calls up the National Guard as a fence goes up around the Capitol.
We're going to begin, though, with the weather and this mix of rain and snow that's been coming down for most of the day. We're heading into the weekend with a bit of a wintry mess moving through.
Let's get right over to Ben here off the top. So are we going to see any snow that sticks, Ben?
Yeah, some of us already have, Karen. It's wide range in effects depending on where you're at and what those temperatures have been at. But the good thing is I think it's ending for a lot of us. Round one pretty much in the books, except for just parts of the north zone where that snow is still remaining. You can see a little bit of that around the M59 corridor, but we're going to see that wrap up here within the next hour or two. Still watch out on the west side, the west zone. If you're on the 23 track, 94, 96, those purple shades, that's where we're seeing road temperatures that are below freezing. But everything to the east of that, including the majority of the area, road temperatures actually above freezing. So probably a lot of wet roadways with some slick spots here and there, but that's some generally good news. Snow totals so far have been in the 1 to 2 inch range, at least out in the west zone. Little to nothing elsewhere, especially in the metro zone. And as we look at temperatures, those will be falling. We'll go back below freezing. Round two of the snow doesn't come until late in the weekend. We'll show you how much to expect in just a few minutes, guys.
Thank you, Ben. Governor Whitmer has called up the Michigan National Guard, and a chain link fence has now gone up around the state capitol in Lansing.
And that comes as the FBI and state police are warning of potential protests this weekend. Let's get to Rod Maloney live in Lansing, where security is, we expect, going to be extremely tight. Rod.
Yeah, Devin, they have a lot of protests here. Pretty much all the time there's a protest, but this is different. This is something much bigger, and it all does begin with that chain link fence right behind me here. The fencing arrived a couple hours late this morning, but that was okay, and then it took all of about an hour to install it. And that's because they only needed fencing along the Capitol's front steps. The back 2/3 of the building's a construction site for a new visitor center, and it's already fenced in. But that's just the beginning. The governor activated the Michigan National Guard. Across the street at the Romney building, where the governor's office is, they boarded up the windows. High-low zipped around, removing heavy steel bicycle racks, as a very strong Michigan State Police presence continued all around the building. At a morning press briefing, FBI Detroit Office Special Agent in Charge Timothy Waters said there is significant information warning of possible trouble.
There's been a lot of chatter out on social media. A lot of that's being reported through folks in the public who provide us tips on a daily basis, which we greatly need to do our jobs.
Michigan State Police Colonel Joseph Gasper wouldn't give specifics about a lot of the security plan that's in place, but he did warn.
I assure you that we take our responsibility for safeguarding the Capitol very seriously. Together with our law enforcement partners, we are prepared for the worst, but we will remain hopeful that those who choose to demonstrate at our Capitol do so peacefully, without violence or destruction of property.
Now, one of the questions at the press briefing this morning was, well, what about the legislature? They're supposed to be in session next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And because the time frame around all of the security here goes well past Sunday, they opted this afternoon to cancel those sessions next week. The legislature not in session. They said they didn't have any bills to pass anyway, and so they'll wait another week. Back to you.
Well, we're talking about a lot of sort of state decisions being made here. Rod, what about the city of Lansing itself?
Well, it was the mayor of Lansing who first gave us a notion that there was a problem here. And coming up on Local 4 News at 6, we're going to hear from him. Yeah. All
right, Rod, we'll talk to you then.
Federal authorities now walking back claims that rioters planned to capture and assassinate elected officials during last week's deadly riots. They now say there is no direct evidence of kill and capture teams among rioters. The original claims were made in an effort to keep Jacob Anthony Chansley in detention in Arizona. The acting Washington, D.C. U.S. attorney said there was a disconnect among authorities. Chansley allegedly used a spear to fight police during those riots.
The Associated Press is reporting that Vice President Mike Pence called Vice President-elect Kamala Harris to congratulate her and offer her assistance. No word if President Trump plans to make that same call to Joe Biden. But in the meantime, the president-elect is focusing on some major challenges ahead. Alice Barr with the latest from Washington tonight. Alice.
Devin, President-elect Biden is trying to bring the focus back to his pressing legislative agenda amidst the chaotic closing days of the Trump administration. In just 5 days, Joseph R. Biden will be sworn in as the 46th president of the United States. Amid the monumental task of securing the inauguration, Biden is already rolling out his plans to address the nation's urgent needs.
The more people we vaccinate, and the faster we do it, the sooner we can put this pandemic behind us.
The president-elect today revealing his blueprint to dramatically ramp up vaccine distribution through the Defense Production Act and vaccinate 100 million Americans in his first 100 days in office.
And this is a time to set big goals, to pursue them with courage and conviction, because the health of the nation is literally at stake.
He's also proposing a detailed $1.9 trillion emergency COVID relief package that includes boosting direct payments to Americans and doubling the federal minimum wage. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi backing Biden's priorities.
He is delivering on what he said when he was elected. Help is on the way.
Meanwhile, as federal prosecutors allege some of the rioters attacking the Capitol last week intended to capture and assassinate elected officials, Speaker Pelosi is calling for a sweeping investigation. She's also weighing when to send the article of impeachment against President Trump to the Senate to begin a trial. The president out of sight again today, but as his staffers were seen moving out, word that behind the scenes Vice President Mike Pence is filling the leadership void to assist the incoming administration. And that incoming administration is hoping that a Senate impeachment trial won't bog down attempts to get approval on cabinet nominees and other urgent business. In Washington, Alice Barr, Local 4.
All right, Alice. Meantime, moving trucks have been spotted at the White House over the past 48 hours. President Trump is expected to leave the White House for Florida on Wednesday morning.
Wayne County has a new sheriff. Today, a three-person panel of county officials named Deputy Chief Raphael Washington as the new sheriff. In his 37-year career in law enforcement, Washington began his career with the sheriff's office before working for Detroit Police Department. Washington also takes over for the late Benny Napoleon, who died last month after a battle with the coronavirus. He takes over as the sheriff immediately, but he must run for election in 2022.
The global death toll from the coronavirus has reached another grim milestone. 2 million people have now lost their lives to the virus. That number is sadly going to keep rising, including from here in Michigan, where 29 more people have lost their lives to the virus over the past day. State also reporting 2,598 new cases over the past 24 hours. Now let's get to progress on the vaccine front.
All right, let's talk about the numbers. 831,000 vaccine doses have been delivered to the state. That means there have been no new deliveries since Tuesday, but there is progress getting shots into arms with nearly 406,000 doses administered in the state. Meantime, the state of Michigan is out with a brand new timeline estimating when all of us could get our vaccinations.
For some, this is going to come as a bit of a shock. Now, it is important to keep in mind this is just an estimate at this point, but it shows the general public, 65 years of age and under, not getting shots until mid-August. Sean Lay has a closer look at just how long we may end up waiting. Sean.
Well, good evening. As we track the lack of vaccine, the state's own timeline on when it might be your turn is eye-opening and something you definitely should pay attention to. Right now, people over 65, frontline essential workers, child care workers, pre-K through high school staff, and congregate care facilities are up to get vaccinated. But the state believes that will take from now until May or June to get everyone in that phase vaccinated. Next, May through September, people 16 to 64 with health conditions that puts them at high risk for COVID complications, along with remaining essential workers. Everyone else 16 or older, the state believes, think the end of September before you might get vaccinated. Two issues slowing things down. Sources tell us at first vaccine shipments sat in freezers. Some areas apparently wasting time trying to identify who to give the vaccine once healthcare workers were vaccinated. Two, the flow of new vaccine has been painfully slow as the elderly with health conditions. Watch as younger, healthier people get vaccinated here and in other states. Today, Henry Ford Health System said they can vaccinate 25,000 people next week, but they need to get those vaccines in.
You can substratify in very small numbers, but it creates all sorts of inefficiency and waste at a time that we need to vaccinate the population.
At 6 o'clock, we'll introduce you to a teacher who has been in person teaching for months but can't get a vaccination appointment. The question is, why? Sean Lay, Local 4.
All right, Sean. Now, the University of Michigan announces its plans for the winter semester with basically a no-tolerance approach to COVID-19 safety.
Yes, current online learning plans will continue with more classes offered remotely when possible. Also, all undergraduate students who live on campus will have to be tested for COVID-19 weekly. And the university says social gatherings of 3 or more people on campus or in residence halls will result in automatic probation.
We've got breaking news just in. The National Rifle Association says it has filed a petition in court for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The group says it is part of a larger restructuring plan aimed at moving to Texas from New York. But the NRA plans to restructure as a Texas nonprofit to get away from what it calls a corrupt political and regulatory environment in New York. More to come.
The city of Detroit announcing the first $30 million in demolition bid contracts have been awarded under Proposal N.
That proposal, passed by voters, of course, in November, aims at eradicating more blight across the city. Nearly 1,400 properties are slated for demolition in the first round of bids that will go out. All 7 companies to win the bids are Detroit-based. They have a 51% city resident workforce.
This is the Proposal N that we envision. Removing blight from the city of Detroit with Detroit companies employing Detroiters.
The contracts will be submitted to the City Council for approval next week. If approved, then abatement work can begin next month. Demolition expected to start in the spring.
Much more to come here at 5. Here's Nick.
A 37-year-old woman who just moved here to Detroit was shot and killed in her own home. It's been 6 weeks since then. What's happening with the investigation?
All right, Nick, also been keeping a close eye on Storm Tracker 4, when we expect to see the snow move back in, coming up.